250 Gemstones culture represents a nation of people that strive for excellence and greatness every single day. We are more than journalism. We are a revolution. Come on, let's kick this door down and let everybody know we up in here. Welcome to the 250 Gemstones News TV channel. I am your host, Michael T. Porter, and I'm bringing the news to your ass like no other. This is a channel that represents a nation of people that strive for excellence and greatness every single day. I have another bomb news segment for y'all, but before I begin, y'all hit that like button, that subscribe button, that share button, hit that notification bell so you know when I am dropping it. If you like to support the mission, the culture, the channel, your boy, Cash App, $ Michael US. I gotta get that money, Scumbag police kicked down the door of an innocent man and they gunned him down. Didn't have a police warrant, didn't have no reasonable cause, just went up in somebody's home and they gunned this innocent man down, Mirando Salmon. Let's check this out. Let's get some drum roll going. This is according to 11alive.com. Family of man killed by DeKalb County Police during, this is in Georgia. Family of man killed by DeKalb County Police during warrantless search files federal lawsuit alleges his rights were violated. The lawsuit comes after a grand jury indicted former DKPD officer Russell Mathis and current DKPD officer Jordan Vance earlier this year. Attorneys for the family of a DeKalb County father who was shot by police in his own home during an investigation over a stolen car claims his constitutional rights were violated. Mirando Salmon was killed on November 4th, 2022 during a warrantless search by DeKalb County Police, according to attorneys for his family. His family filed a federal lawsuit in court on Thursday. The suit came after a grand jury decided to indict former DKPD officers Russell Mathis and Jordan Vance early this year related to the November 4th, 2022 shooting. Mathis was formally charged with involuntary manslaughter and reckless conduct. Vance was indicted on reckless conduct charges. According to the DeKalb County Police Department, Mathis resigned from the department on May 22nd, 2023, and Vance was terminated on March 11th. Officers entered Solomon's home without a warrant that night after spotting an alleged stolen car from a dealership in his driveway. The suit stated that the allegation was that someone had taken a car on a test drive from a dealership a week before and did not return to pay for it. Now, these are officers right here. To the left is Russell Mathis, this piece of crap right here. And we got a darker piece of crap right here, Jordan Vance. These two going to people's home without a warrant, violating people's rights. These two right here, animals. The lawsuit added that officers knocked on the front door and entered the home when no one answered. As they went through the home, Mathis went to the second floor and encountered Solomon sitting on his bed in the dark, she said. Mathis then allegedly shot and killed Solomon in a matter of seconds. Solomon threw a cell phone at Mathis, which the officer reportedly believed was a knife, according to the district attorney, Sherry Boston. Solomon was a loving father, brother, and a son with a big heart who was always willing to help others. The lawsuit claims that the two officers in DeKalb County violated Solomon's Fourth Amendment rights by not obtaining a warrant to enter his home. According to the attorneys, DeKalb County DeKalb County allows warrantless searches when speed is essential. H11 Alive has not been able to independently confirm DeKalb County's policy. So DeKalb County, how in the hell can a police department or a county override the Constitution? Is the Constitution say you're supposed to have a warrant, but they say you don't have to have a warrant because their goal is to lock us up. The officers relied on the overly lenient policy to justify the unconstitutional entry into Solomon's home, directly leading to his tragic death. Court documents also allege that some of the members of DeKalb internal review board believed Mathis and Vance did not violate the policy. While the officers made the decision to enter unlawfully, they were operating under a policy that was far too permissive. The lawsuit demands accountability and change to protect the Fourth Amendment rights of all DeKalb residents, said Michael Neff, who represents his family. When reached for comment, DeKalb County and DeKalb County Police released the following statement. DeKalb County does not comment on pending litigation matters. So, look at this piece of trash right here. And I really can't call them a piece of trash because they're operating under a piece of trash policy. Would y'all like my opinion? Would y'all like some of this 250 Gemstones News TV commentary? Well, of course you do. That's why your ass is here. My stance, you already know how I feel. Fuck them. Fuck the system, right? Because these people wipe their behinds with the Constitution. The Constitution says you're supposed to have a warrant. That means you're supposed to have a warrant. How does a county come up with their own laws? How does a county come up with their own, policy that's going to override the Constitution, and they're actually enforcing it? They are actually enforcing it. It's like our Constitution is a joke. You can't say what you want to say because you get shut down, you get demonetized, right? On certain platforms, you're going to get demonetized if the platform doesn't agree with what you're saying, even though it's a public platform, right? Violating our rights every chance they get. There's another something I want to show y'all too. This is the family member. And it's just actually sad. This is a young man that got clapped up by the police. They had to get a GoFundMe because they want to give him a proper burial, right? This is his mom, Audrey Collins Salmon Fearon. Audrey Collins Salmon Fearon is organizing this fundraiser. Never thought I would witness having to bury my son. No parent ever wants to experience such grief. I always thought it would be my children being old and burying me instead. It was just Thursday, November 3rd, 2022, the last day I saw my son. He visited me and, as usual, greeted me with kisses and told me he loved me. Such a lovable, decent, gentle person, always playful and respectful. It just pains my heart to sit down and write such hurtful news. On Saturday, November 5th, 2022, around 5:40 a.m., my family and I was awoken by a loud banging on the door. We were startled by the aggressive knocking on the door. My husband answered the door with two men, not even announcing who they were, telling him that police had shot Mirando Salmon. They left a piece of a notebook paper with a phone number written on it that we were unaware of. They gave us no further information. My heart was racing and my body was shaking up. My daughter and I began to call 911, and they didn't have any report on my son. Notice that, y'all, they didn't have any report on my son. We called Mirando's phone multiple times, no response. We were worried because it was unusual for him not to answer his phone. I called the number, the two men left, and no one responded. My daughter went to his house around 7 a.m., and he was not there. We found the address to the phone number, and my daughter went there, but the building was closed. It was long after we realized the number given was for DeKalb Medical Examiner, which is closed on the weekend. We did not believe he was dead because we were only told he was shot by police, not killed. We thought maybe he was injured. So, see, she's giving the full story right here. This is the full story right here. Let me see. My family and I were confused and sad. My daughter and granddaughter found an article about Mirando Salmon, 36 years of age, killed by police. It was said that someone called and reported that a stolen car was parked in front of the house. The police fabricated the stories that when they came to the door, my son was non-compliant and pulled a handgun on them, yet which does not make complete sense because he was not shot multiple times upstairs in his room. Why would police allow a suspected person to go upstairs and then turn around to pull a gun on them? If it was reported that a stolen car was parked at the house, they should have run the license tags. Yep, they should have ran it. It was 2 months ago that he injured his foot driving to pick up his girlfriend from work at the airport. The truck stopped working and he jumped out of the truck. He injured his foot. The car that they claimed was reported stolen was a car that he rented because the truck he had was being worked on at the mechanic shop. He had been driving that car for months. So the police have been taking the life of another innocent black man. They went there with no warrant. That brutal and heartless police wanted to murder my son. No one in the neighborhood heard any gunshots. People were awake during the hours they first saw police driving up to the driveway. When they brought out my son on the stretcher after 10 p.m., people saw that he had his phone holding up and the light gleaming from the phone. It was noted that the ambulance and mortuary van drove off almost 4 a.m., which meant they had my son lying there to die before taking him to Grady Memorial Hospital. So they shot him at 10 p.m. and didn't get the ambulance till 4. So for 6 hours, they allowed him to bleed out. Witnesses said that after hours, yellow crime scene tapes were placed outside, but in the morning it was removed as if no crime had occurred, which I find very suspicious. Police trashed his room upstairs and left a bloody scene. My son was no criminal. See that, y'all? No criminal. Blow it up. No criminal. A hardworking man who loves his life and is very respectful. He left behind an 8-year-old daughter that is now fatherless and a life filled with goals he was working towards. I felt empty and a part of me disappeared. And a part of her disappeared when her son died. If only I could put him back in my womb and give life back to him. How many more innocent black life must be taken for change to take place? Why must families keep going through so much trauma? You guys can check this out on GoFundMe.com. Miranda Salmon. Whoo! That's the full story. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that full story? They shot this man and at 10 p.m. and allowed him to bleed out until 4 a.m. That's 6 hours. Do y'all understand why I'm this way towards the police? Do y'all understand why I have such a disdain for the police? I just covered another story how an ex-police sheriff deputy killed his own wife and tried to frame it as a suicide. I also covered the story how an officer was grooming a 12-year-old girl, got her pregnant, and then he deleted her so she wouldn't tell the world how he was abusing her for years. Animals, all the corrupt, all of these liars shot this boy and didn't get him any help for 6 hours. They staged the crime scene. These are some evil people. Staged the crime scene, put the yellow tape up, and then took it right back down. Didn't notify anybody. Didn't do anything to help him. Her son was no criminal. And the car, and then she made a good point. Why didn't they just run the plates? Why didn't they just run the goddamn plates? Because they weren't there to figure out who stole the car. They were there to take somebody's life. We have actual serial killers in uniforms. We have serial killers in uniforms violating our rights. We have counties. We have police departments coming up with their own goddamn ways of doing things to violate our rights. The Constitution says you got to have a goddamn warrant. Like the mother said, once again, if you felt the car was stolen, why did you run the place? If you would have ran the place, you would have figured out that car was rented and it's in his name. If you would have came in there with some decency, he could have explained to you, hey, I hurt my foot getting out my truck and my truck is messed up. My car is in the shop. So I'm renting this car until my truck is fixed. My truck is in the shop until it gets fixed. I'm renting this car. If running the plates wasn't good enough for them, like, hey, police just came and knock. Hey, we ran the plates and there's a bit of missing information. Do you care to explain? And then Mr. Miranda Salmon could explain to the officers that's his car that he's renting, is in his name, so on and so forth. Y'all flood my comments. What do y'all think about these animals? What do y'all think about that black mother? What do y'all think about just the police constantly killing black folks on a daily basis? And then you got some of these niggas out here saying that is not happening, or it's not happening to the degree that's being reported, or we're making it up in our minds, or they're saying that more damage is done to police than police is doing damage to us. Can y'all believe this? Y'all let me know. Am I crazy? I mean, because I know I'm not, because I cover this. I've been doing this a long time. I'm one of the best newscasters out there. I know what I'm talking about, but I'm open to hear what y'all have to say about these terrible, god awful entities in police uniforms. 250 capital G. I'm gone.